This is the Lancer Locker Show on KYNT. Now, let's talk some Mount Marty University athletics with the coaches, as well as your host and the voice of Mount Marty University athletics, Tel Tanner.
All right, back here for another Monday. It was a pretty cold Monday. I'm kidding, of course. It's been great. I'm loving it. The sun came out today. We actually got above freezing. I'm so happy, and it's going to be here to stay. It was a cold weekend, I tell you what. I traveled with the basketball teams over to Forest City, Iowa, while I was under the weather. I don't know if you tuned into those games. I was sick as a dog calling that game over in Forest City. Got it on the air and got a couple of great wins, too. Mount Marty University women's and men's basketball programs winning in Waldorf, both of them, as we get to our week in review here. We'll talk about it in a second, but first, let's go to our guest today, and that is Andy Bernatow, the athletic director for Mount Marty University. We spoke with Andy Bernatow a little earlier today over the phone. He is recovered well from surgery. He gave everybody an update on his foot and kind of what's going on there, and we obviously talked everything Mount Marty Athletics. I spent like a half hour talking with that guy straight. So we're going to play that interview coming up next. So we're going to make it pretty quick intro segment here so we can get to that. Let's start it off with the basketball teams and what they did over the weekend. We'll start it off with the men's team today. They got a good win over Waldorf, 100-71, and now their third victory in a row and two straight on the road. The men's team is tied for second in the GPAC right now, 5-2. In conference. The Lancer women are also right now in the conference tournament early in the season, obviously. They're 4-4 in conference. They got the win over Waldorf by 55, 89-33 over in Forest City. But the really big history in that game for the Lancers, Kayla Martinez, the senior guard and a four-year starter, hit her 1,000th point in the game. Congratulations to Kayla Martinez on that. A really, really special accomplishment. The Lancer women's basketball team has a 1,000-point score once again. And you can see her and both of these Lancer squads Wednesday night, Simple Arena in Yankton versus Doane. 6 o'clock, we will have coverage on KYNT. 6 o'clock Wednesday evening. Women first, men to follow. With that, we've got to go to our indoor track and field really, really quickly. But we got to get out of here so we can get to that interview with Andy Bernatow, because I spent a lot of time talking with him. Spent a little too much time talking with him. I always do. I love talking to that guy. I just love chatting with him. So let's go ahead and go to our indoor track and field coverage. 4 new records were set for Mount Marty indoor track and field over the weekend at the Concordia Early Bird down in Seward, Nebraska. It was Logan Ferrari continuing to break his own records first, as he set new school benchmarks in the mile at 4 minutes, 16.2 seconds, and the 3,000 meter as well, 8:31.50. Ferrari won both events with teammate Joseph Cross in second as well. Maya Zoner set the new school record in the women's pole vault. Once again, continuing to break records is Zoner, clearing 11:11 and 3/4 to win the event. Zelly Sorensen broke Alexis Evans' Mount Marty 60-meter record with a time of 7.77 seconds. Sorensen broke the record by 0.01 seconds. That is so close there. Also winning events for the Lancers, it was Jonathan Van Leen won the heptathlon, while Xavier Prado, Carl Massa, Samuel Favreto, and Bastian First took first in the men's 1,600-meter relay. The Lancers are now off until 2026 with their holiday break. They'll return to action January 10th. They got the home opener, home indoor track and field in Yankton. With that, let's go ahead and take our break. We'll come back in a couple of minutes with Andy Bernatow, athletic director for Mount Marty, here on the Lancer Locker.
Hi, I'm Deb Speck with Vision Real Estate. Buying or selling a home can be complicated, but with 20 years of experience, I'm here to put you at ease and make the process as easy as possible. We offer moving boxes and the use of our courtesy trailer to make your real estate journey a smooth one. Call me, Deb Speck, with Vision Real Estate, 605-664-5555.
Beef, pork, seafood, poultry, and more, all at the Meat Lodge in Yankton. Get top quality meats at great prices. They have specialty items like lamb, brisket, bison, mahi-mahi, crab legs, and lobster. They even have non-meat options like Dimmick cheese, pickled items, seasonings, and sauces. The Meat Lodge in Yankton on the way to the lake on Highway 52. For more, call 689 3000 or go to themeatlodge.com.
Slumberland Furniture is your local destination for top brands like Lazy Boy, Ashley, Flex Steel, Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and more. Carrying a full range of mattresses and furniture for every room in your home, you'll find styles you'll love at values that make sense. From everyday essentials to name brand comfort, Slumberland offers the selection, and their service goes the extra mile. Visit Slumberland Furniture, 2401 Broadway in Yankton, where helping you create a comfortable home is what they do best.
Sherco, the industry leader in tarping, has done it again with the release of the all-new Sherlock E-Series electric tarp. The E-Series features fully assembled front and rear arm, a pre-wired sealed control box, and Sherco's exclusive SmartWire sealed harness for quick and easy installation. Operate the E-Series with the SureLink EZR remote or by your smartphone using the SureLink app. Add more time to your day with the Sherlock E-Series. To learn more, contact your authorized Sherco distributor or find us at Sherco.com. Demand the best. Demand Sherco.
Runza's grilled chicken sandwiches bring the flavor.
Yeah, but which one's the best?
That's not a fair question.
Barbecue's got Swiss cheese and that sweet smoky sauce.
But the smothered's a whole mood. Swiss cheese, mushrooms, grilled onions.
Then there's the classic simple tomato, lettuce, and mayo. Perfect. Yeah, you're right. It's impossible to pick.
Try Runza's grilled chicken sandwiches. 100% white meat chicken, however you like it. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Savor the holiday season and celebrate with something truly special. Stella Artois. Launched as a Christmas beer over 90 years ago, Stella Artois remains the best-selling Belgian beer in the world. Its full characteristic flavor and high quality is assured through a superior brewing process and by using the finest ingredients available. Try Stella Artois Original, Solstice, Petite, Cidra, and Midnight Lager. Beautifully balanced with subtle notes of dark chocolate, freshly brewed espresso, and a hint of smoke in the finish. Toast your holidays with Stella Artois. Get some at your favorite place to buy beer. All right, back here on the Lancer Locker on KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450. The Lancer Locker, as we are now joined by the athletic director of Mount Marty University, longtime coach for the school, and Andy Bernatow. Coach Bernatow, thank you very much for talking with us today over the phone today, because I know you're recovering right now. You had a little bit of a surgery. Can you get everybody an update on how you're doing over the last couple of days, how your ankle's doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It was, if you've been around me, I kind of walk with a limp, and I had an ankle surgery 6 years ago, and they had to go back into that same ankle and do a little bit more work. It was a little bit more work than we initially anticipated, but hopefully everything goes well, and maybe that limp will leave me here within the next year. That's my goal.
But so far, positive signs out of it?
Yeah, everything's good so far.
Good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Mount Marty University then, shall we? It's been a good fall so far. The fall semester is in the books. We're going to go through kind of a lot of the teams individually and talk about the athletics kind of one by one. But can you give me your overall thoughts of how things are going as you are now, what are you, in year 5 as the athletic director?
Yeah, this is year 5, and then things are going, well. This is it's been really a fun start to this school year and this fall semester, and you look at our fall sports and then the start of our winter sports. It's been one of the better semesters that we've seen in a real long time.
So let's go ahead and start talking about everything. Let's go back to the very beginning of fall and talk about the Mount Marty University football program. They were very, very good last year. Another good year this year, only a couple of plays away, really, from having a winning record once again. What can you tell me about the growth of the football team and where they're kind of at now in year 5 of existence?
Yeah, and just real appreciative of that coaching staff. Head coach John Micheletti, man, he's phenomenal, and he's one of those guys that makes people around him better, not just his coaching staff, but in terms of how he operates and how he communicates and interacts within our department. We're fortunate to have him be at Mount Marty, and we are, like you said, year 5, and to preface all this, the year 4 we had a winning season, and we have a school down the road that's a juggernaut right now that made the playoffs, and it took them 11 years to have their first winning season. And then our other case study is another school in the conference that took them 16 years to have a winning season, and in a 25-year history, they've only had 2. So for us to knock off a winning season in year 4 last year was pretty impressive. Now, with it being year 4 last year, if you remember senior day, we walked, I believe, 38 guys. So that's a heavy graduating class. So this year, the win-loss total did take a step back, but we had a lot of positive signs in terms of the way we started, knocking off Northwestern. We were nationally ranked. A lot of those things were really fun to be a part of. And then if you go back and you take 4 different plays, throughout the season, that gives us 3 more wins. So we're really right where we need to be, and really we're in a situation where analytically we understand that we need to stabilize the program, and so we really look at those stabilizing factors like retention rate, roster size, graduation rates, GPAs, and then what's the win and loss doing, because they all work hand in hand. And one thing looking forward to next year, so we've got a lot of talent returning in a lot of important places. So I think next year it's exciting because I think we can do some things that we haven't done with that program yet. In year 6, and they talk about usually it's year 6 through 8 is your stabilization period, and then that's when you really start looking at the wins and losses when you get to year 9, 10, 11. And that's kind of the case study of the school down the road that I was talking about, and that's Stewart University. And what they're doing, and knowing that we're maybe on a parallel a little bit quicker than them, and I think that's just a hat off to John and his coaching staff, the Yankton community, and what they provide to the football program, and then the administration leadership at Mount Marty, and understanding what it takes to have a winning and thriving program.
And one of the things that has really been special to see for the football team is the attendance. Every single year, you've been either at the top or near the top of the conference in home attendance every year of the last 5. What can you tell me about the Yankton community and how they have embraced Mount Marty football?
Yeah, in the Yankton community, it's a sports program. So if you're putting a quality product on the field or the court, they tend to show up. And sometimes, we maybe not have had the most competitive product, and we still do a really good job with fans attending the game. And that does mean a lot. One of the biggest things that we have to push, or we're trying to create, or we need to understand, is that student-athlete experience. And part of that student-athlete experience is having fans in the seat, cheering them on, providing for them. And what's really nice about the Yankton community is if it's football and it's Saturdays, they're just not showing up Saturdays with, like, the hospitality family, and the community service we do. I feel like it's a constant connection. It's a constant relationship where it's not only on game days, and that makes a real comfortable situation for our student athletes.
Coach, let's keep going on. Let's move on and talk about some more fall athletics. We got to talk about the volleyball season and the year they have had in the juggernaut conference that is the GPAC, with so many ranked teams every year going all the way near national championship status. The Lancer volleyball team made the conference tournament once again this year. They did fall in the first round, but that program is another one that is just continuing to make strides and make progress. Where do you see them next year, and what do you think of them now?
Well, just it wasn't that long ago that we were in this real long losing streak in conference play, and if you're familiar with GPAC volleyball, the conference, and how strong volleyball is, it might be one of our strongest sports, if not the strongest. I mean, you can get in a good debate about that, but, really impressed with what's been done there. Coach Sophia is doing a great job. When you look at the last 2 seasons in terms of winning percentage, it's the best winning percentages we've had in the last 31 years, 2 years in a row. We pretty much had identical records the last 2 years, and then making the conference tournaments, which we hadn't done in about 10, 11 years. So we're just impressed that, we're starting to make ground in that sport. And then when you look at, again, the roster there, we're going to graduate a couple really nice players, but we have a full complement of players coming back. So I think that program's headed in the right direction. One thing that's eluded us is we've just been over 500. So our winning percentage the last 2 years we're in the 400s, and I do feel like that making the conference tournament is something that we can stabilize and become something that we consistently do. And then, really if you're making the conference tournament in the GPAC, there's some national tournament play that can occur, which is with how strong the conference is. But that winning season, that's staring us right in the eye. And I know Coach Sophia is going to work real hard, and I have a good feeling that that's going to be something that's going to change here in a short amount of time. So the great group of girls in terms of student athletes, and one thing I like about all of our programs is just when you look and see what they're doing in the classroom, I just think we're planting a lot of positive seeds. All of our programs have over 3.0 GPA, and our volleyball program is one of the leaders in that.
Coach, let's turn to soccer now, as we saw one of the more successful falls for Mount Marty soccer in memory, for both teams. The women's soccer team and the men's soccer team go to the tournament. Both of them have a very similar story, which was really funny to look at. They both go in as the 8 seed, go to the 1 seed, they tie in regulation, and then win the match in penalty kicks to knock off the number 1 seed in the GPAC tournament in the first round. Both of them then fall in the second round, but great seasons for Lancer soccer. That had to be really fun for y'all watching those matches. I got to watch you watch the men's soccer game, I believe, and that was really fun to see your celebration when they won that one.
Again, it really gives me chills. Soccer, there's no mystery that it's been very difficult for Mount Marty and trying to produce quality soccer programs. We've always get on the cusp where we have a few good years, but we've never have had it where we've done damage in postseason play. And a year ago from right now, we were looking for a women's soccer coach, and then a couple months later we were looking for a men's soccer coach. And as you know, coaching transitions sometimes can lead to where development gets delayed or slowed down in terms of program development. So, both those programs, great stories. I could talk all day about it, but Coach Joe Chick's first-year coach leading our women's program set a school record for wins, made postseason play, made some noise in postseason play, knocking off the number 1 as the 8 seed, and that was tight. Maybe a little bit different than your typical 8 seed. That team was really talented. We had the newcomer of the year in Riley Grimm, but just a fantastic season. And then watching Coach Chick's work in terms of building a program, recruiting, how he interacts with the student athletes, I just think he's not done. He's going to do a lot of fun, amazing things. And so a lot of excitement for next year and what next year brings. We didn't graduate, a whole lot of seniors there. We got a lot of girls returning, so that's going to be fun. But that season, on history and paper and any way you slice it, is the best season we've had for Mount Marty women's soccer, and it's really putting us on a pathway of doing things that we've never done in that program. So really excited about that, and just really in awe of those girls. A lot of not just really good soccer players on that team, but a lot of really good just intercollegiate athletes, like a lot of athleticism on that team. And then when you look over the men's team, a little different situation. New coach there, Sheldon Spellman. He got it a little bit later in the gig. I mean, we were into summertime when we finally got that contract signed and that search settled down. And this year I would just, you kind of like, well, we might have to really take our lumps this year. And just his competitive spirit, his drive, his ability to get his kids on board was really impressive in terms of the resiliency he was able to establish in that program, and they found a way in. And one of those things about figuring out ways to be competitive, like maybe not on paper how you want to draw up, be competitive. When you look at that game where they knocked off number 1 Northwestern, there is at a point, I think, where Northwestern had 28 shots on goal, and we didn't have 28 shots, and we didn't have any. And the final tally before we got to PKs was 32-4, and then we go winning in penalty kicks. Like, again, just it's chilled. It's just awesome. And then now knowing that he gets a full year of recruiting, and telling people, this is what we were able to create, and this is going to be who we are. And just watching his recruiting class and where that's at, I mean, he's got a good quality class coming in, and just the excitement of those two coaches. And one thing that I really like about both of our soccer programs is how well those two coaches work together and how well they get along. As you know, college athletics is one of those jobs. The more support that you can create, the better you're going to be. And just for those guys, just to create a natural relationship where they're going to help each other with both their programs, just puts our kids in those programs in a good situation. But that was a pretty incredible year. And as you said, it's just remarkable. 2 8 seeds, getting in the playoffs and knocking off the number 1 seeds. The Cinderella story of, David takes down Goliath. Everyone's always a fan of that.
This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT. I'm Tel Tanner here with Andy Bernatow on the phone, athletic director for Mount Marty University. Let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap up fall sports and get into winter sports around the corner. We're going to talk a little bit about the Dakota Fieldhouse here on the campus of Mount Marty University and some of the new things that are coming to it. We'll talk about track and field, cross country, golf, as well as basketball. All coming up with Andy Bernatow on the Lancer Locker.
Long day, good day, either way, Yankton Pizza Ranch makes it easy. Our buffet is always ready with fresh pizzas, mouth-watering desserts, and the country's best chicken. No waiting, no stress, just grab a plate and enjoy. So when you need comfort made simple, make today a buffet day at Yankton Pizza Ranch. Buffet every day from 11 to 8.
It's where life tastes better. Surround 'em up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch.
Whoa, that's good.
The holidays are a time to reflect on what matters most. At Parker of Yankton, we are powered by the hard work of our employees, the loyalty of our customers, and the support of our community. Together, we're engineering success like never before. Looking to start the new year with a career where you're valued and appreciated? Join the Parker team today. Visit parker.com to apply. From all of us at Parker of Yankton, thank you for making this year unforgettable.
Parker, engineering your success.
Happy holidays from all of us here at Parker of Yankton.
When First Dakota National Bank created Dakota Mac in 1993, we knew we could offer ag producers something few other banks dared to. Long-term, fixed-rate loans for ag real estate refinances and purchases. Today, we go by Landera, and we provide the same great service. And even more banking options to help your operation thrive for generations to come. Banking evolves. Trust endures. Landera, a division of First Dakota National Bank.
In nearly every family's lineage, there's a tie to agriculture. It's a legacy reflected in how we raise our kids, help our neighbors, and respect what we have. Farmers Union Insurance was built on that legacy. And while our roots are in agriculture, our protection has grown to include home, auto, business, health, and life. Protect your legacy. Farmers Union Insurance.
Call Brendan Hansen and Brandon Tykrow or visit them at Suite 101B Morgan Square in Yankton.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
A big thank you from Mount Marty University to one of Yankton's greatest employers and friend of the community, Aztec. They're very proud to support the Mount Marty Lancers. The vision at Aztec is to build industry-changing solutions that create life-changing opportunities. And you can build a career with the group that's built to connect from rock to road. Click careers at aztecindustries.com. Best wishes, Mount Marty, from your friends at Aztec.
All right, back here on the Lancer Locker on KYNT 102.1 FM AM 1450. Speaking now with the athletic director of Mount Marty University, in Andy Bernatow. We've been talking fall athletics as the fall semester just wrapped up for Mount Marty. Let's go ahead and finish up fall and talk winter now here with Andy Bernatow. Coach, before we turn to winter sports, we got to go through golf here for a moment. Now, with a golf team, it's a little harder to judge the progress maybe as an athletic director because you don't get necessarily wins and losses. So when it comes to the golf programs, how do you judge their progress of where they're at and where you hope they're going?
Yeah, well, one thing is golf is one of the sports you do have to make sure you can't be successful if you don't have a full roster. So, I mean, you have to make sure that you have a full roster. Then it's, you're doing a lot of score watching. And then golf is, I feel like in some ways like track, you have to know what they're scoring previously in comparison to what they're scoring now. Just like in track, what were you running that 400? Well, you weren't breaking 50. Now you are breaking 50. Well, the same thing in golf. You weren't breaking 80. Now you are breaking 80. And those two coaches we have, and Todd Rodig and Darren Cunningham. Todd heads up the women's team. Darren heads up the men's team. Todd Schlimgen had ran the women's team and did an excellent job with that. Now Todd Rodig runs it, and I think Todd's done a really good job with the transition of running that program and keeping things in a good position. He loves golf. He loves being around it, and I think both these guys are retired DCI agents, so they're good people to have on your side. But I feel like our women's team's in a good spot, just consistent, stable, competitive, and our men's team is rising. And it's fun watching. I've known Darren Cunningham for a long time, and we had coached 12-year-old baseball and youth baseball with our sons being the same age, and watching him transition that and watching him learning recruiting and wondering if this recruiting thing, there's an art a little bit to recruiting. And now the fact that not only is recruiting, but he's recruiting international kids to come in and play golf, it's been pretty fun to watch.
Coach, let's go ahead and turn now to winter sports as we talk about, kind of fall and winter combined as we go to cross country and track and field. But let's start it off with the field house on the campus of Mount Marty University. As we're talking indoor track and field and cross country, you really got to talk about the Dakota Field House there as well, because there's new additions coming. Can you tell me what's going on there?
Yeah, we've had two fun projects that have come. One was a donation through the Fox Stop here in town, James and Tracy Grow Nice, and that donation was first. We've got some big screen TVs, so normally we use a number placard system that will give results, but when we've had our bigger meets in terms of when we had the national championships during COVID, and then when we had the conference meet a few years ago, the timing company brings in these little mini video boards and they station them at each location spot of event, and then the results come up. Well, we did look into those video boards. They were a little bit heavy, but we were able to figure out with modern technology and TVs and our IT and facilities stepping in to help out, which very thankful for those guys, man. They work so hard for us. And they're always, I feel like I've always got them on a wild goose chase of the next thing we're going to do and how can we pull this off with trying to maximize our resources. And so we've got some 86-inch screens that will be around, and that's the same size as those video boards that were brought in, and we'll have where the results are on those boards at each individual spot. And then the big thing that we have going on is we have a video board that actually should be arriving today that's going to go up, and that's through CoreTrust Bank. I'm very appreciative of the relationship that they have with Mount Marty. But we have a 22 by 13 video board. In perspective, for the listeners, the video board at Crane Youngworth is 21 by 13. So this video board will be the same height, but it'll be 1 foot wider. If you've been to Crane Youngworth, you know that video board kicks out a very nice picture. That is a P10, so the light bulbs are 10 millimeters. So that's how it gets the name. It's a P10 board, but the smaller the bulb, the better the pixelation. So this is actually going to be a P4 board. So usually the indoor boards have a little bit different bulb, and you can get a little bit smaller, which gives you a better picture. So we know at the football field, there's times where you can be almost 700 feet out, and you can still read that board. In the field house, we really don't get over 400 feet. I mean, that's a pretty big field house, but so the board will be will be pretty robust and be a pretty neat deal for us. So appreciative that in a time like this that we have the ability to be progressive, and appreciate just Core Trust and the Yankton community and how they treat us so we can get projects like this done. But pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. You know, that field house, the First Dakota Ruth Donahill field house is for a school our size is pretty amazing that we have a facility like that, and the fact that we can get people to still provide for that facility is pretty awesome.
Coach, let's talk about the cross-country track and field teams themselves, headed by head coach Dan Fitzsimmons. You got him from USD a couple years ago. What can you tell me about him and his programs as indoor track and field season has just begun?
Well, Dan, I mean, he's a great leader, and I really appreciate the way he leads, you know. And so our men's team was kind of a unique year. Our men's team previous year finished 4th in the standings, and then this past year they finished 11th. But we were faster. Besides one runner, we lost. The Ferrari kid didn't have full eligibility, but our guys that ran last year that returned were faster this year. So it's just the conference is tough. And then, you know, Logan is a premier runner, one of the better runners in the conference in terms of cross country. You know, if he was able to run, he would have probably been the best runner. I mean, he ran unattached, and it kind of showed that way. But I feel like it was a good year. And then our women's team, it's just one of those years. Women's cross country has become a little bit difficult around the conference, and making sure we're filling out the teams now. Coach Fitzsimmons, the startup of this recruiting class looks like will be in a better situation next year, but they finished 11th this year. But generally, you know, we're in that, you know, 6 to 9 range, and I think we'll get back there.
Coach, let's turn now to basketball, as it is that time of year. One more day of conference basketball in 2025, and both teams off to pretty good starts right at the moment. Both teams with wins over at Waldorf over the last couple of days. 4-4 in conference at 500 is the women's team, and 5-2 in the conference are the men's basketball teams. Alan Bertram and Colin Authier, the two head coaches there. Can you tell me about those two programs and the progress they've made? Everything seems to be just going up around Mount Marty right at the moment, just completely rising competitively.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like I said, it's fun to be a part of. You know, when you look at the job that I have and the job that Jason Nelson and Cindy Solar have, there's a lot of hours, and I don't think you're really ever off duty, right? There's always things popping up throughout the day, in many different hours of the day. But it's been real fun to come to work because of the energy that's produced when you're on the rise. And I do feel like we are on the rise, and we can visually see it. It's not something that we can talk about. Then you go and you go look at the website, and then, well, you know, they say they're on the rise, but they're not winning, or they're not producing at a higher level. And, you know, we're really being able to visually see it. So, you know, winter sports have had a great start with track and field starting and women and men's basketball. And in women's basketball, again, Alan Bertram he's doing a really good job with the program. And Alan, again, is one of those coaches that I feel that he makes everyone around him better. So really one of those coaches that we can lean on in the department and know that when other coaches come to him for advice, he's going to have great advice. He's also that guy that maybe when another coach is struggling with something, that he feels comfortable in terms of his background to go in and talk with that other coach in a real organic fashion. So, and now you're seeing what he can do with his program. So, you know, again, we've talked about the GPAC and how difficult it is. Women's basketball historically has been one of our toughest sports. And, you know, usually if you're a top eight team in our conference, you have ability to do stuff at the national level. And so right now the women's team does sit at 8-4 in their 4-4 in conference. And if you look at the conference standing, you're going to notice that it's going to be real tight. I feel like when you start looking 3 through 9, 4 through 8, you're going to have a chunk of teams that are going to sit there. It really reminds me of GPAC baseball and what I lived for many years. And so really just navigating through it. But they've had some fun things this year. You know, they're 8-4. got a win versus the Morningside, which historically has been one of the better programs in all of NAIA, and they had a really good game with Concordia. Same thing. Concordia is one of the better programs in the NAIA, and then they've taken some teams and they've just have had their way with them. So really excited to see where this shapes up for them. I know that if you look at the history of the conference, this Wednesday night game versus Dome, this could have this big implications for postseason and really wanting to be in that top 8. And the talent on that team is at a really good level. Coach has done a good job of doing it the right way. So real excited where that's at. And I tell you, they're athletic and they're fun to watch. So if you get a chance, if you haven't seen them play, get out and watch them. They're definitely worth watching. And then Colin Othier and Marty Gross and the men's team, man, that's also been fun to watch. They at the beginning of the year, in terms of scheduling and working through stuff, it was kind of like, okay, they had a few wins that they felt that they left at the court, and now all of a sudden they've caught fire and they're in a little bit of a winning streak here. They've won their last 3 games in conference play, so that's been definitely fun to watch. 2 of those games have been on the road, and anyone that's been around it, they know that winning on the road in the GPAC is very difficult to do. But when you do it, those wins really stand up in terms of conference standings. So our men's team is actually tied for second in the conference standings with the 5-2 record. So just real impressed with where they're at too, and it's been fun to watch that program and coach, and just really I feel like it's one of the things that all of this is a grind, but just hunkering down. It's been fun to watch.
Well, Coach Bernatow, I appreciate your time today, taking a lot of time to talk with us here. I know you're recovering off of surgery, but I'm glad that went well, and I'm glad you're doing well. Is there anything you want to leave us with here today regarding the fall semester at Mount Marty or previewing spring?
Yeah, well, the track team has 2 meets in, and their first meet is January 10th. And one thing nice about this year is we don't have an overlap with basketball games in our track and field meets. So if you want to get out, the track and field indoor meets are awesome. So we have those on January 10th, January 16th, and 17th, and we have in February 13th on a Friday. But our track and field team has had a good start where we've already are starting to qualify with just 2 meets in. We're qualifying for national standards where we're going to have kids in the national indoor meet, and then on top of that, we've already broken some school records. So Coach Fitzsimmons and Coach Wiebelhaus, they're off and running with that program. It looks like, not too far removed from having 2 national champions, something that had never been done. We've had a really good track program over the years, so just excited where that's at. And I think, one of the things is, getting into GPAC play and in the teams that are set up where you have to qualify for postseason. I think you're going to see this year is going to be a pretty remarkable year with that. Really excited about our outdoor track and field team, and then baseball and softball. We've got some really awesome things going on there too. So, like I said, it's fun. It's been a real fun year, and I think the second half of this year, when we get into the second semester, I think it's got the ability to match the first half. So, really excited for how this year finishes out.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for your time. I'm realizing I still call you Coach. It's been 5 years since you were the head coach of the baseball team, but you were a coach your whole life, and I know everybody else at Mount Marty still calls you Coach. Have you ever thought about that a little bit, how it's been a couple years that you've been the athletic director, but everybody still just calls you Coach?
I don't mind that. I tell you, over the years I've been called worse, so I'll definitely day of the week. But, yeah, and I feel like in terms of how Jason, Cindy, and myself, how we run the department, I do feel like we do try to take a side-by-side nature, and it's almost, like a peer coaching format, try to work with them and try to educate them and try to support them. So, if I'm going to work and someone's calling me coach every day, I think I like that. That's all right with me.
Well, Coach Bernatow, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. I appreciate it. It's been one heck of a semester for Mount Marty, and I am looking forward to this fall. And once again, there's still a couple more games at Mount Marty this Wednesday night, starting at 6 o'clock, women's basketball, then men's basketball versus Doane in the Simple Arena. Thank you, Coach, for your time. Thank you for taking it for us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's the athletic director for Mount Marty University in Andy Bernatow, talking everything fall semester at Mount Marty. This is the Lancer Locker on KYNT. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap things up when we return. 102.1 FM, AM 1450, KYNT's The Lancer Locker. I'm Tel Tanner.
Those are the sounds of loyal companions looking for a new home and family. The Heartland Humane Society has dogs and cats looking to become a new member of your family, ready for adoption today. Every animal available for adoption is vaccinated, spayed or neutered, microchipped, and dewormed, saving you over $200 or more in vet care while giving you a loyal friend. Come visit all available animals at 3400 East Highway 50 Yankton or online at heartlandhumanesociety.net.
Big changes are happening at Lewis and Clark Ford in Yankton. Come meet our new finance manager, new sales manager, and our all-new sales team, bringing fresh energy and hometown service.
During our year-end sale, get top dollar for your trade, plus an extra $1,000, and enjoy 0% APR for 3 years on select Ford models with approved credit.
Don't wait. These deals won't last. At Lewis and Clark Ford, the deals you want, the Fords you love.
Visit us online at lewisandclarkford.com or stop in at 4th and Capitol.
Looking for fuel or more? Stop by Triple Time Rudy's, your locally owned convenience store at 17th and Broadway. At Triple Time Rudy's, they're proud to support the community, offering fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers and backing local activities and events. Inside, you'll discover regional favorites like Dimmock Cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. Whether it's a quick snack, a tank of top-quality fuel, or a taste of local goodness, Triple Time Rudy's, fueling your day, fueling the community. Get ready to spice up those family gatherings this holiday season with Carbliss. With a variety of flavors like black cherry, margarita, cranberry, black raspberry, or mojito, there's a flavor for everyone. Carbliss isn't a malt beverage. It's mixed with premium vodka, rum, or tequila with no carbs or sugar. Embrace the joy. Savor the bliss, open up some seriously delicious holiday moments, and cheers to endless fun and endless joy. Choose Carbliss, handcrafted premium cocktails this holiday season.
From the first wails of surprise to first day of school questions, playground adventures, learning to drive stress, and graduation cheers, they'll always be your little sunshine. At Avera Children's, we get kids, teens, and parents too. We'll step you through first checkups, milestones, sickness, and specialized care when your child needs it. And treat them like our own every step of the way. Learn more at avera.org/children's.
All right, back here in the Lancer Locker on KYNT for the final time today. Thank you to Andy Bernatow for taking that amount of time, just sitting talking with us over the phone. He's doing great. And it's after everything, and it's looking like the Lancers are on the up and up as well. That's going to do it for us today for the Lancer Locker on KYNT. Once again, coming up on Wednesday, there will be basketball versus Doane, 6 o'clock in the Simple Arena. We'll have all the coverage right here on KYNT, video coverage, KYN-TV, and the GPAC network, of course. 6 o'clock will be the start time. I go live covering that at 5:15. You've been listening to 102.1 FM, AM 1450, the Lancer Locker on KYNT.